Cowboys, Steelers. They'll be the first two teams we see in 2020, announced today as the Hall of Fame game participants for August 6th. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to NFL Total Access, presented by Nike on Tuesday, March 10th. That's the original day that the franchise tag window was supposed to close. Then it was moved to the 12th because of the CBA negotiations, and now it has been moved once again. Ian Rappaport, what is the new deadline? Why'd they move it back?
The new deadline for teams to apply the franchise or transition tag is now 11:59 a.m. and 59 seconds on Monday. So basically, teams will have anywhere from 1 second to about 1 minute to figure out who all is getting franchised and which free agents are actually free. And this comes for a very good reason. What happened before, basically the way it was set up before, is that the franchise tag window and the actual vote for the CBA were crossing over, and teams would not necessarily know if they had two tags, which would be under the old CBA, or one tag under the new CBA. So they'd have the awkwardness, for instance, teams like the Titans or the Cowboys or the Bucks potentially tagging two players, then having to pull a tag off a player if the CBA got passed. Now, no longer an issue. Teams will know, did the CBA get passed, yes or no? And then how many tags do they have, one or two? They should know that right before the tampering window opens.
Thank you, Ian. So it might be a few more days till we have some sort of resolution on what the Cowboys plan to do with this guy. Is the number one free agent of the offseason, according to NFL.com, who is still without a long-term deal in Dallas. For more on where that negotiation stands with Dak Prescott, Jane Slater's with the team in Frisco.
With the franchise tag deadline moved to Monday, the Cowboys now have a couple of extra days to try and finally get this extension done with Dak Prescott. Here's what we know right now. Since the combine, that guaranteed money number has gone up a bit. I was also told by a source informed that this deal is now currently bigger than Jared Goff's. Now, in what way, still unclear. I tried to get them to clarify if that meant the annual salary, the years in length, or even the guaranteed money. So that's what I was told. That's where we'll stay. What's interesting about this situation is most teams typically work out long-term deals with their quarterbacks a year or two in advance. The Cowboys are trying to get this done as this expires. So right now, if they don't get it done, they still have the option, of course, of the franchise tag, or in the least likely scenario, the opportunity to let him test the offer and then try to match that one on the open market.
Thank you very much, Jane, and welcome Terrell Davis and DeAngelo Hall. I think she used some interesting language there about the Cowboys' options if they wanted to retain control. Does Dak Prescott have that control right now?
Yeah, I think Dak Prescott absolutely has that control. You know, I saw a teammate of mine, Kirk Cousins, and the way it played out where they let his contract expire and then tried to franchise him, then franchise him again. And before you know it, that franchise number was so high that Kirk Cousins held all the cards. And so Dak Prescott has the cards in his hands right now. I think what a lot of people don't understand is Dak wasn't a top 5 draft pick. This was a later round drafted guy who has earned this contract. And so as a player in that locker room, to see a guy like Dak Prescott who has the kind of wins he's put up in this league not get the respect to go ahead and get that deal done, that kind of has you thinking, like, you know, what will it take for this organization to really give me the money? You know, you saw Ezekiel Elliott, he had to hold out. So you don't typically see quarterbacks hold out like that. Yeah. But, hey, Dak, you might need to hold out, buddy.
But, D-Hall, if you're in that locker room and you see how they're treating Dak, right? Mm-hmm. This quarterback has been there. He's never missed a game. He's outplayed the guys he was drafted in the same draft class with. We're talking about Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. So we talk about a guy that's been there, that's put in the work, that deserves a contract. And I'm seeing this where they're not paying him. They're hesitant for some reason to pay him what he's worth. And now you're hearing maybe he's going to end up taking that 1 year, you know, whether it's a franchise tag or, you know, a short, 3-year deal, but not worth what he's looking for. As a player, I'm like, man, I don't know. I can't, it's hard for me to look at leadership to say that you guys want to win and rewarding players. I mean, I'm going to go back to my first year as a rookie. I got 6th-round draft pick. After my first year, Mike Shanahan came to me and Pat Bowlen said, hey, we want to redo your deal. And they were fair. They wanted to make sure that their leaders had the right contracts. And Jerry, just go ahead and give the man the contract he deserves. And it seemed like they're still haggling over small numbers.
You don't think they've been fair to Dak?
No. I don't.
How far should he take this then, though? Because there's a risk. If you say, okay, fine, I deserve all of this money, you go ahead and tag me. I'll bet on myself like Kirk did. then isn't there a risk involved with that? Like, what if they have a down year next year and his numbers slide?
It's always a risk when you bet on yourself. But knowing the competitor Dak is, and I played against this kid as a rookie, and I was thoroughly surprised. And I played against Tony Romo, and this offense looked and felt different with Dak Prescott than it did with Tony Romo. And we all love Tony Romo's ability to call out plays before they happen in the booth. But on the football field, Dak Prescott did and does just as much as Tony ever did for that organization.
Yeah, the only risk really is injury for a quarterback, and we see how these quarterbacks bounce back from injury. So I don't think it's a major risk for him.
You don't think a bad year is a risk?
Not for him. No. I don't think so. Not for him. I don't see it. I mean, not with the new coaching staff.
We know bad quarterbacks getting $30 million, so
I don't see it.
Dak's going to be all right.
He's not that. Well, Dak's not the only high-profile quarterback who's set to become a free agent next week. That guy with 6 rings is as well, and there is a general sense that Tom Brady's status could affect the entire quarterback market. Teams that want to be in on him could end up waiting to see what he does, and that could leave some other guys waiting to see what's left. Is that assumption correct, Ian Rappaport? Might we have to wait a while to see how this whole thing shakes out?
At least through the tampering window, because the Patriots are going to know likely probably by Wednesday morning whether or not Tom Brady is going to be their quarterback. And no doubt if he goes into free agency, becomes an official actual free agent, which means the dead money hits the Patriots. Hard to imagine him going back there. But yes, some teams, certainly some free agents, are waiting to see, does Brady leave to go elsewhere, because New England would become a prime landing spot. And then there's the Tennessee Titans, and I know a lot of people have talked about the Titans as a potential landing spot for Tom Brady. My understanding is right now they are focused on getting Ryan Tannehill done. They have had negotiations on a long-term extension for Tannehill. Really not a surprise. They've done it probably since the Combine at the very least. Their focus right now is on retaining their own players. If it doesn't happen, perhaps the Titans will regroup. But no doubt that is where they're looking. And you see the tweets from Ryan Tannehill still very much connected with Nashville. Certainly in the event of their tragedy there, he wants to be there, and it sounds like the team wants to be there as well.
Okay, but Ian, what does that mean? They're focused on signing Ryan Tannehill, like that's priority number one, and if that doesn't work out, then we'll turn our attention to Tom Brady? Is that what you're saying?
I know it is priority number one. Locking up Tannehill helped lead them to the playoffs and gave them a much-needed kickstart last year. Locking him up long-term is absolutely their number one priority right now.
That is very interesting. And Ryan Tannehill did have a very good year last year, a better year than Tom Brady did in just about every tangible area. And he's younger than Tom Brady, and the guys seem to like him there in Nashville, but it still feels a little counterintuitive for Brady to be a backup plan to Ryan Tannehill and not the other way around. Or am I off on that, DeAngelo?
No, you are absolutely right, Lindsay. I don't know why Tom Brady is a backup plan to Ryan Tannehill. We saw the way this Tennessee offense operated through the course of the playoffs. During the regular season, it was a little bit different Tennessee team. They did throw the ball a little bit. But even watching this offense, I never thought that this offense had what it takes to actually get over the hump. Yes, they went to New England and won that football game against a team that wasn't really that good, but they beat a really good Baltimore team. And so, yes, this Tennessee team has the ingredients, but to me, I feel like that quarterback position is the one position they can upgrade right now immediately and be a different kind of football team.
I feel like this is a smokescreen. This is in the event we don't get Tom Brady. We don't want to get Ryan Tannehill's feelings hurt. So we're saying right now is we are focused on re-signing him, and then if Brady doesn't work out, we got him in the building. He's good to go.
TD, that's not going to work because, look, they're going to have to wait on Tom Brady. What are they going to be like? Hey, if Ryan Tannehill's agent calls and goes, hey, we got a number. Here it is right now. Let's do it. And they're like, well, hold on just a second. And then they happen to call to be like, yes, you're the guy we wanted all along.
Why do they need to go ahead and make this deal like right now?
Well, if he's their priority, I'm just saying if the point is that you're trying to sell to him that you're his priority, then get it done right now. Don't wait on Tom.
There's ways you can act like that. There's a reason why you're holding things off there.
It'll be some negotiating back and forth. And I think Ryan Tannehill
it ain't going to happen that fast.
He'll take more of a team-friendly. Yeah, he is, right? He don't want to pay the man. I think Ryan Tannehill will take more of a team-friendly number as well than Tom Brady. And so I think you can absolutely
You're not shutting the door on Tom Brady until the door is shut.
Yeah.
That's what
think
I'm
you
saying
can't-
right now.
Smoke screen.
You can't
Smoke screen
can't
right
shut
now.
the
That's all
Ryan
it is,
couldn't
brother. That's
see
all I'm
through
saying.
that. More on the Brady component to all of this in just a bit, or more specifically, I guess, the Patriots component. If they lose him, what does that mean for them? That is coming up. In the meantime, Ravens have a pretty big hole to fill on their O-line moving forward. 8-time Pro Bowl guard Marshall Yonda set to